Oh, the hot air balloon rides over the pyramids at sunrise, Lucha Libre, eating Michelin star tacos, visiting Cuyocan, going to Xochimilco, getting on boats. This is a roundup video. We are talking about the top things to do in Mexico City, the things that you need to know so that you can plan the best trip possible and know what to expect coming up. And if you're new here, yo, I'm Christine Lozada with Where in the World is CL. I make travel videos every week to help you get up, get out, and go travel. So if you like to travel, consider subscribing. This roundup video goes along with all of the vlog videos I have created, and I have recommendations on tour operators. It's all in the description of this video. Don't miss out on it.
Most people do.
Or just come to Mexico City on a group trip. More info on that is also in the description. Let's start with the first one, which you must do at sunrise. The hot air balloon rides over the pyramids at Teotihuacan. This is extremely magical, especially if you go at sunrise. A lot of people I know on this trip experienced it in the middle of the day and they're like, oh yeah, it was pretty, but it is pure magic if you go at sunrise. I definitely recommend the 1 hour drive and the early wake up. I'm talking 4 a.m. wake up or a 5 a.m. wake up to be there well before sunrise so that you can be in the balloon and rising and floating over the pyramids as dozens of other balloons are rising up around you at sunrise. It really is magical. This might have been my most favorite thing that I did in Mexico City. And since you're already in Teotihuacan, the next one is to go see the pyramids. If you're a history buff, spend time here. Regardless of whether you spend hours and hours and hours, or like me, an hour, make sure you're going with a guide that helps to tell you about the amazing culture and what you're looking at. I actually really enjoyed walking around. I will be totally honest. There are a lot of vendors here who will just be trying to sell you a lot of things. Make sure you just understand that's the case, but it is, in my opinion, worth visiting the pyramids after you have done the hot air balloon ride. It's a travel preference thing, but for me, I would not visit the pyramids if I didn't do the hot air balloon ride.
Just being honest.
This next one I was 100% skeptical about, which is Lucha Libre. I went and watched it at Arenal, Mexico, which is the big arena, which I learned later is not in the nicest part of town, so don't be chilling around this area. Directly in front of the arena is perfectly fine. There's a few vendors out front, but watching Mexican wrestling is fun. It's not something you probably want to stay for the whole thing. It's long. My guess is this would have been a 3 to 4 hour show. We probably stayed around 2 hours. Come, watch them wrestle, get a michelada, have some, they serve cup of noodle soup, have some popcorn or something. This is a great place to just enjoy. There's a lot of tourists, there's a lot of locals. It's just fun. Come here, scream Spanish profanity. It's a good time. It's also helpful to know that Arenal, Mexico, the big arena, is not the only place you can watch Lucha Libre. There's a lot more kind of local arenas as well, places you can watch it, but that's the one that I went to. All right, this next one is Xochimilco. This is a really fun one to do with a group of people, or if you're just a really fun person, it's a good time. Go onto these boats in Xochimilco. They have over 100 miles of canals. This is a place where you go and eat, drink, party, listen to music, float around, and enjoy the sights. You can stop off at bars and restaurants. You can stop off at bathroom facilities, but this is a place where you go and just spend a few hours, maybe 2 to 3 hours, just partying on a boat. It's really fun, and one that I definitely recommend checking out. Tacos, obviously. Within Mexico City, there's a million options for tacos, but I want to talk about the top Mexico stand.
Top Mexico stand?
The top taco stand, which is the Michelin star taco stand. This is one that is standing room only. It's not a nice dining experience at all. It's a nice taco stand. They only make 4 different tacos and they've been doing this for a long time. And the staff will come out and bring you the salsa and the limes and hold the plates and serve you on literally the streets, which isn't the best experience, but it is really cool to try these tacos, which really amazingly and well made. This is the only taco stand in the world that has a Michelin star. It is delicious. There are so many tacos places around Mexico City. And also while you're navigating around Mexico City, a lot of people like myself use big carriers like Verizon Wireless, and I get free coverage in Mexico, which is great. But one thing I didn't expect that was a pain in the butt is they limit how much fast cellular connection you get, which means literally after a couple hours each day, my phone was slow. So if I was trying to call an Uber, if I was trying to use Google Maps to navigate to the next taco stand or walk to the fill in the blank, it wasn't working as quickly as it was before. And so having a eSIM card that I can just switch over from Verizon or your cellular service connection and switch over to an eSIM card like SIM Local helped me to keep super fast connection. And so check them out in the description below, because this is one I definitely recommend, because staying connected in a city like Mexico City and having to look things up on your phone is super important. This next one is Nightlife. Nightlife in Mexico City is fun and is one that I do recommend. I loved cruising around Zona Rosa. It was just a place where there's lots of nightclubs, lots of places playing music, bars, restaurants, etc. That was really fun. I also loved checking out, Mexico City has some of the best cocktail places in the world. And so checking out the cocktail scene is one I definitely recommend. Which, by the way, if you're getting some value out of this video, cheers that like button, consider subscribing. If you have a tip, I only spent a couple weeks in Mexico City. I'm already planning my trip back. If you have a suggestion, add it in the comments. We're all a community. Don't forget about the full video playlist as well as the blog post that goes along with this. It's all in the description of this video. This next one is far away. It's about a 4 to, depending on traffic, 5-hour drive out of Mexico City. And this is Grutas Tolantongo. What is that? They call it a water park, which is kind of a weird thing to call it. But basically it's thermal baths on the side of a mountain. And then the other part of the park, this park is humongous, by the way. The other part is the caves and the waterfall. Just imagine going to like hot jacuzzi style water and just chilling and relaxing for the day. This is one I recommend that you not go on a weekend. Go on a weekday, and even better, if you can, go insanely early in the morning. We went in the afternoon. It was on a weekday. It still felt really busy, lots of people, but this place could feel insanely magical if you had the place to yourself at a more quiet time. They do have a hotel on the property. I looked up the prices, pretty inexpensive. There's not a lot else to do here. This is definitely a place to go and spend half a day, relaxing, enjoying the water, and maybe having dinner or lunch on site, and then head back to Mexico City. This next one is important because Mexico City is humongous. And if you're someone that likes to shop, there are a million markets to choose from. And whether you're visiting the markets while doing a city tour, this place is really awesome. There's a lot of history. The way in which I did the city tour, and my style is, I don't really want the slow, 5-hour walking tour. I want to see as much as I can and as quickly as possible. So I loved doing the bicycle tour. This is not one for everybody. If you haven't ridden a bike in years, or if you're not comfortable on a bike, you're gonna hate riding a bike in Mexico City. They do a lot to keep you safe on this bike ride if you do know how to ride. I got lucky. I was on this tour with 16 people. It's a lot of people, but they were all from the Netherlands. You wanna know what they do in the Netherlands? They ride bikes. We jammed through this entire city, and I literally saw so much. I even asked the guide afterwards. I was like, was that the normal tour? And he's like, no, we saw a lot more than normal. So the bike tour can be one that allows you to see literally everything. I did this. I flew in super late at night on a Friday. I did this first thing Saturday morning, and I was established in this city. I knew where was what was the vibe of each part, because again, the city is humongous. There's really nice parts of the city. There's really sketchy parts of the city. There's really cool cultural parts. There's all the things. And so some kind of city tour, and knowing that if you're a shopper, lots of markets, cool markets exist, that is another top thing to do in Mexico City. If you're a little bit more on the history side, There are so many museums. Obviously the Frida Kahlo Museum. There's so many that people recommended to me, but I decided to get my history by going to Cuyocan, which is kind of something we bundled with Xochimilco because they're kind of in the same direction as each other. But that is where Diego Rivera, that mural museum is one that is top recommended. There's so many museums around Mexico City, but going to Cuyocan was a cool experience. It's another little small town that has a lot of history. It's fun to walk around, cool markets over there. Go grab lunch, spend the day cruising around. We did it as a walking tour. This was my Mexico City lineup that I recommend. I'm coming back, honestly, in a couple months to go experience more. So if you have a recommendation, add it below. Check the blog post. I keep that updated. Come to Mexico City with me on a group trip. It's gonna be a good time. I'm Christine Lozada. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.